Okay, we're recording and we are live on Facebook. Good morning, everybody. I am honored again. We are on day two with Christina Davidson, and she and I have decided to embark on something that we could not find anywhere in Young Living, and that is my process that I used for 30 days to go silver. As a silver leader, when I very first started, I didn't think that it was impossible the way everybody else does. So I became a silver leader in 30 days, and we're going to teach you guys how not impossible it is, and also use the premium starter kits as a way to understand what business you're in. We are both business women. We have been entrepreneurs, I think, our entire lives. I think we were even entrepreneurs when we were kids, selling things that we could sell. But we have had a degree of success in business that we're really proud of. And we are both really strong spiritual leaders. We use the Bible all the time. We use the Course in Miracles. So we do a lot of other things other than just Young Living. And I was a former venture capital banker, and I learned when I first had my children, I was under 20 years old, and I had to learn that if I didn't have multiple income streams, we might not be able to pay our rent. So I have always produced multiple income streams from the various things that I'm interested in. I've been a yoga teacher every single day since I was 17 years old. And so that has always been, excuse me, just 1 minute. That has been one of my greatest things that I've been able to make money from and love and learn. I'm putting thieves right in my mouth because thieves cuts coughing and cuts stuff in your throat. I love thieves. I love the taste of it. I used to make it myself, not realizing that it actually started with Young Living. So thank you, Gary Young, for doing thieves. Anyway, what we are doing is we are trying to figure out a very simple way, a very workable way for you to build your business rapidly and sustainably so that you can have fun with it, kind of like I did my yoga. Did I know everything I did know today? When I started at 17? No, I knew one thing, and that's what I taught. And then I did it over and over and over. And I became, a pretty good yoga teacher, pretty good pranayama teacher. And to this day, it is what supports my health. And when I was introduced to Young Living 4 years ago, I realized that it could support my health and my well-being, so my emotional health, and it had no ceilings on the amount of money I could make. Even when at the height of some of my careers, when I was making really good money in venture capital or in real estate. I've had a real estate broker's license for over 25 years, and so I've used that for investing. But it all had a cap, because if you're trading time for money, you're not going to be able to do more than you can do in 24 hours. I mean, that's all that you can do, no matter how much money you make. But in in affiliate marketing, what happens is that you refer what you're doing. So, like if you're referring somebody, like Christina told me to watch The Beekeeper the other night, and I sat down immediately and watched The Beekeeper, and I thought it was about bees, but it was about this guy that's kind of like he's like a 007 that, goes around cleaning up the world from bad people. And we're all trying to clean up the world, beginning with our own bodies and our own minds and our own philosophy and our own value system. And then trying to formulate a group around us that have similar values and similar desires for their life, so that people are not pulling us down to the lowest possible denominator, but we're pulling each other up to higher and higher and higher expectations and higher ways of living our life. So, um, so today's episode of day 2 of 30 Days of Silver, I'll just kind of go over a couple of points that we went over yesterday. One is that it's imperative that you start fast, because it's kind of like why I do 75 hard. When people say, well, that's just too hard. Yes, it is hard. And that's why it keeps me focused, because I can't do just a little bit. 75 hard is a physical thing all day long. You have to think about, did I have enough water? You have to drink a gallon of water a day. You can't do that all in 1 hour. So you have to measure it out and do, how much water am I drinking in this hour? How much water am I drinking in that hour? When you start fast, no matter what you're starting to do, you start focused. When you start slow, you are not focused. So when you start something just a tiny bit, like you decide, oh, I think I'm going to give up sugar. And then you say, well, I can have one cookie. It's not going to really matter. But the thing is that depending on how much you focus is going to give you the outcome that you're trying to get. And I am a natural born strategist, so I always look for um, the easiest, quickest way to get something done efficiently and done as correctly as possible. Um, but I'm not a real perfectionist, because I think that you need to just get something done. And I think that many people um, are more of a perfectionist, and they keep pushing things off, thinking that it's going to get more perfect when they don't get anything done. If you get something done and it's done wrong, all you have to do is fix it. But at least you know that you did it wrong. And so when you're building a Young Living business, there are a couple of things that are just incredible about it. Number one, you're cleaning your body, you're cleaning your environment, and you're cleaning your mind. And you do it with Young Living has over 700 products. So these products are made to support your way of life, but it's also a way to start making incredible amounts of income. And I want to do both. I want to have a better life that I think is more fun and more healthy. And I want to be able to have an income stream that I can depend on. Christina, what was the reason that you got into Young Living? I mean, what what happened in you? What were you told in the first few minutes that made you go, I've got to do this. This is not a maybe. This is, I have to.
Uh, so the reason I first got into it is because I knew how beneficial oils were, and I knew that they held a frequency. And during the day, as human beings, we're fluctuating in our own frequencies all the time. And I knew that oils would help me raise my own internal temperature. And also, I had an opportunity to get on a team with Jack Canfield, and I really thought that would be attract the right people into my life. And so that was my main goal, is to bring this frequency and energy into my life, and a team that would support me as I'm in personal development. So those two ideas really, how should I say, were in alignment with who I am.
Well, and one of the things that I love about you, Christina, is that the name of your company that you've had for years is Razzle Dazzle. And I love anything that glitters is pretty for me. And I love all that stuff. Diamonds are a girl's best friend and all that. And
Yes.
and I also love that you want to redefine luxury, because you and I have had the auspicious opportunity to be around a lot of super wealthy people in our lives. We worked with them. And we know that we're an average of the 5 people we hang out with the most. So whatever you think about, you bring about. But if you are hanging out in your mind with 5 losers, you're going to be a loser. If you want to learn how to be an alcoholic, just hang out with 5 alcoholics, and you'll be an alcoholic. And so you want to redefine luxury because we both know that just to be rich doesn't make you happy. We know that having money makes it a whole lot easier to do anything. And so we really appreciate money, but we see it as God's green energy, and there's just a natural form of give and take. But without values, without living to your highest self, and without having a bigger reason than you, um, you're not going to be a happy human being, period. And we can give you lists and lists and lists of people you probably know that are not happy. And they have all the money in the world, but they don't have the answers. And so Christina and I are embarking on finding answers. We don't have all the answers, and that's why yesterday's Zoom of our first of 30 Days to Silver was so clunky, because we were literally trying to figure it out along the way. And today's call is still a little bit clunky, but we're better than we were yesterday. And we got a few glitches worked out, and we will continue to do that. And then I'll get some help to wind these videos down so that they're a manageable amount of time so you guys can quickly listen to them and get on with your day. So one of the important points that we made yesterday is that to start fast. So you want to sponsor 2 people within the first 4 days. And Christina, how close did you come yesterday to sponsoring somebody?
Yesterday I was really working on, who am I, and who do I want to sponsor? And, I walked into a new, chiropractor's office and got the name. And so I'm calling him today and making an appointment with him to spend some time, and because my goal is to bring on some chiropractor offices, and I have an acupuncturist meeting this week as well. So that's my focus.
So Christina is bringing up a point that we made yesterday, and that is, why do you even want to? Why did you get into Young Living? What's important to you about it? And I think that I made a mention of people that are younger than 30. They know that people on the internet are becoming millionaires and billionaires because they're doing affiliate marketing, and it's all over the place. They don't think anything of it. They're all, you know, if you look at any YouTubes or any social media, they'll be recommending products. And the reason for that is because that is the way people are making the most money right now. When I was young, the people that made the most money were rock stars, and so everybody wanted to be a rock star. And then it was nerds, it was Bill Gates and Apple computers. And if you were a nerd, you could make $1 million. And so now it's affiliate marketing. And so the people that have been in Young Living for a while, or of the old multi-level marketing, or what else did they call it? Network marketing, multi-level.
Right.
They think of it as Amway or Mary Kay. And by the way, both of those companies are still strong. And I think Amway is 60 years old or something like that. But affiliate marketing is multi-level marketing. But multi-level marketing, and particularly the way that Young Living set themselves up, pays out the most money from any kind of affiliate marketing. So when you are recommending Nike shoes, which you can be an affiliate of Nike and recommend Nike shoes. The problem is that Nike spends so much of their per item cost on marketing. So they take about, let's just say a shoe cost $1. they're going to spend between 80 and 90 cents on the marketing material for that shoe. So then they only have 10 cents left that they can give you a share of that so that you will do their affiliate marketing. In the case of Young Living has very, very tiny marketing costs in their products because they depend on the people that are making the money to talk about the marketing. So people like me, people like Christina are talking about how great the product is, and that's, you know, that word of mouth. And word of mouth is still the fastest way to get information. And it's word of mouth in groups that you have an affiliation with. So there's a story about Paul Revere. And why do we know about Paul Revere? Because Paul Revere was best friends with all those people that he rode through that town announcing that the British are coming. Well, on the other side, there was another man who rode the opposite direction. And we don't ever remember who that man is because that man had no influence. And when he rode through those towns and said, the British are coming, nobody paid attention to him because they weren't his friends. They didn't know him. They didn't know whether or not to trust him. But Paul Revere already had a relationship with all those people. So the level of trust was already high and people got together. And that was part of the strategy of that war. So when you're talking about learning together, like Christina and I are, it builds a level of trust that is hard to get through regular friendships or through just casually meeting somebody and hoping that they have the same values. When you start practicing your values by building business and building authority, then you can learn so that things start to make sense. Okay, so we know you need to know your why. Why are you in Young Living? What is it about it that is the high priority? And of course, on my back screen it says live your inspired life. That happens to be the app that we created with Jack, which we'll go over in a few days, probably next week. But Jack Canfield Oilers, we get to be with the #1 success coach in the United States. Jack has sold the second most books after the Bible, and he's got a podcast right now. He's going to be 80 years old in July, and he's amazing. And the people that he influences are amazing, and we get to actually be with him in small groups. He loves this group. It helps him with his own health and his own well-being. He's taught emotional health since he was 20. He graduated from Harvard and he graduated with psychology degree because he wanted to work out his own issues with his own dad. And so the emotional oils and the emotional reset that we always do, I think in July or something like that, it's profound. I mean, it cleans up a bunch of emotional baggage like you would not believe. And Jack is, he just, the first time we did it 4 years ago, he couldn't believe what happened to him. So in this 30 days to silver, the first thing you want to know is why do you want to make money from Young Living? And what is it about you that makes you think that you should or that you're worthy of making money? Because everything in your life depends on how you feel about yourself. So if you don't think that you're worthy, you're not going to be able to make anything. So get your why really, really deep because you're going to have to push it even harder and harder and harder as you go in life. You want to build your confidence and you want to build your service to yourself and to others. And you've got to have deep, deep whys. Um, my why for life is to help a billion people, help a billion people. And when I first started saying that when I was, I don't know, I was a kid, people said, you can't, do you know what a billion is? A billion is not a million. And, people really ridiculed me about that and said, there's no way. And in those days, there weren't even very many billionaires. Now there are billionaires every 5 minutes. But the thing is that with technology, you can make that kind of a difference. And the way I see the environment and politics and corruption and the things that I've seen corrupt from my own vantage point makes me know that if I don't do as much as I can to help this world improve, and that means improve one person at a time, then I think the world is headed in the wrong direction. And so I always believe that light is stronger than dark, and that one little piercing in a box can bring light into a dark, dark space. And I believe that God works that way, and that God works through us as us. And so as we walk, as we talk, we're representing what God is, excuse me, what God is in abundance to all things. So when you look at the birds and you look at how beautiful they are and how fun they have at 5 o'clock happy hour when they get on the happy wire, and they're all singing together and they have those beautiful feathers, that's God in abundance. And when you look at an orange tree, like in Phoenix, Arizona, we have oranges all over the place. We don't have to tell the orange tree to grow oranges. It just grows oranges because God made it that way. And I believe that God made people in his own image. And that means that we have all these abilities that we don't use. So have your why done. Do what Christina and I are doing. We're thinking about this all day, and we're thinking, who do I want around me? I don't want to sponsor every single person that walks by me, because I don't want those people in my life. I want people in my life that share my values, that are searching for better ways. Right now, I'm deeply involved in the medical arena because somebody I love deeply is trying to heal from devastating brain cancer, and we're doing everything that we can to learn that. But the people that are at the height of that, the doctors, the oncologists, the therapists, the social workers, they don't know what I know. They don't know about energy medicine or about luxury, even, because they were all working so hard. His surgery was 10 and a half hours long. That doctor was so exhausted, he doesn't have time to learn all these things that we learn. So our ability to go and help other people to get this stuff is really, really, really important to me. So within 4 days, Christina and I will sponsor 2 people, and then we will help those 2 people to do the same thing, sponsor 2 people each within 4 days of them getting involved in Young Living. And then understanding what the premium kits are for. The premium kits are at a huge discount, number one. And the first kit that I suggest to use is the one with the desert mist diffuser, because and it has the oils that you'll probably end up buying over and over and over to support your health. But that particular diffuser, that desert mist diffuser, it'll work all night. And the oil that I'm going to talk to you about today, with the 30 days and 30 ways to use your premium. I so am sorry about my little there are allergies that are just in the air in the desert, because we got so much rain this year. And even though I don't really have allergies much, I wake up with this sometimes in the morning. But um, the one of the things that I diffuse quite often is Stress Away, and Stress Away comes in that first premium kit. So yesterday we used lemon for lemon water. Lemon water is something that I do every single morning, and I have since I learned that as an Ayurvedic remedy in yoga, that it flushes out your liver. So the first thing that we do is the lemon water. And then the second thing we do is we diffuse Stress Away. And I think right now stress is at a premium across the universe, right? Christina, tell them about how you use Stress Away.
Yeah, so what I love to do is I will go ahead and put a drop on the palm of my hand and circle it 7 times. And then I'll just breathe it in And make sure when you breathe it in that you're swallowing your breath, that you're really bringing it into your body. And then just, take a few inhales of it and swallow those inhales. And that's really how I use it, because you have more points on the palm of your hands and the bottom of your feet and your ears. And so you really want to activate those receptors, those points in your body. They're mapped to your entire body. And so if you're using your hands and your feet and your ear or your ears, it really affects your entire body.
Well, and one of the things that you talked about putting it in your hand and making clockwise, so your molecules spin in a clockwise direction. And if you want to go deep, deep down that rabbit hole, look at Tesla's work and what he found out about molecules clockwise and magical things that he found when he was trying to figure out 0 point energy. He and Einstein worked their entire life trying to define 0 point energy, which I have worked my whole life trying to define that. And I just wrote a book called God Spark about those molecules. So we inherit molecules. So some of our fears, some of our insecurities, some of our lack of confidence didn't happen on our lifetime. It's something that maybe you got an emotional molecule from your great great grandfather and he was afraid of dogs, and you are afraid of dogs and you have no idea why. Some of those things are just emotional molecules, and there are ways to correct that. But you have to know how to work with them and how to get rid of them. Well, these oils, I do lots of classes on energy medicine because that's what I've got. My metaphysical degree is in energy medicine. And so there are only a few ways to get the human body to stabilize your energy, your frequency. And frequency, high frequency, is when you feel joyful, you feel laughing, you know what high frequency means because you feel it. And you know what low frequency means because you feel that. You feel depressed, you feel sad, you feel sick. And if you stay down in a low frequency for a really long time, you will get sick, you will get cancer for sure. And I can tell you what the numbers are and how that works and why it works like that. But we are frequency machines. So we are a human capsule that has a soul in it. And that soul literally weighs something. So the minute you die, you lose, I think it's 3 ounces. But we all atoms that have ever been made in the universe are still the same. We just change what that looks like, what that atom looks like, whether it looks like a table or whether it looks like a heart or whether it looks like an eyeball. The atoms just change and the molecules change. So these oils help stabilize that frequency. So oils, when they're organic, 100% organic, which in Young Living, it's more than organic. They will not grow those plants on any soil that has had any pollutants for 100 years. Now, in the world now with the air being polluted, it's hard to find soil that's not polluted. But Young Living, whether it's their own farms or whether it's farms that they affiliate with, they will not grow those seeds. And the seeds themselves have to have been organic for 100 years back. So their level of sophistication to making sure that you've got the most pristine plant medicine that you possibly can is just, it amazes me when I go to those farms and I see the level of sophistication that I get to use when I'm in the hospital with my friends, or that I'm working with a therapist or a doctor. I can feel 100% that I'm using the best I can find and the most important that I can find. And so each one of these oils has a frequency that doesn't change. Humans change frequency every couple of seconds. So it's hard to maintain a certain level of frequency. I will tell you that crystals, so I have a little wand here, a little crystal wand like Harry Potter. And believe it or not, this has a lot of science in back of it. If you don't believe me, look it up on Google. But crystals are in every single medical equipment. It's in all your computers, it's in your phones. And you go, well, why did they put crystals in there? Because different crystals have different power of frequency. And so it holds information. Crystals and water hold information. Oils hold information, but they stabilize the frequency. And so I use crystals. Crystals are all over my house. And when you diffuse these oils like Stress Away, um, it really diffuses the stress that you feel. So if you go to sleep with Stress Away in your diffuser, or you put Stress Away, like Christina said, on the outside of your ears right here, if you just rub your ears, it feels really, really good. But if you put Stress Away on there, you will start to de-stress. And we have these little ways for you to have a better life, but people don't know what they are. And we're here to try to help you do that. So we're going to wrap this call up. We did a lot better today than we did yesterday. But what we're going to do is we've already spent one day. Now this is the second day. We've got only 2 more days left to sponsor 2 people. And we want to be very concise about what we want to sponsor. So we want people who truly want to form an income from the highest grade of plant medicine and of things that are going to clean your environment. Just sideways, I grew up in Tokyo, and because it was at a time in my life, those preteen years and beginning teenager, it was a time in my life that I was like a sponge. Everything mattered. I remember seeing the first woman begging for food that I'd ever seen in my life in that time. And so the idea of feng shui and simplicity and living on a tatami mat. We didn't live on a tatami mat. We had regular military housing, but we had a maid, an everyday maid, who spent a lot of time with us. And we went into Tokyo. We lived outside of Tokyo in Kamakura, which today is one of the top places to visit because it's right by the ocean, it's right by Mount Fuji. Outside of my window was Mount Fuji. But goodness sakes. Sorry, guys. Anyway, I was raised with the idea of beauty and Japanese flower arranging, which is called ikumi. And my mother did Japanese flower arranging. And the idea of clearing clutter in your body and clearing clutter around you is a huge piece of the Japanese culture. And the flower arranging is an artistic way to do something that's very impermanent. So that flower arrangement may only look good for 24 hours, but they're incredibly beautiful and incredibly sophisticated, but really, really, really simple. And the way the Japanese live, because it's so crowded there, it's one of the most dense populations on the entire earth. So even when I lived there, Tokyo, I think, was the most crowded city in the world. And I think still to this day it's one of the top, if it's not the top. But I was watching last night about the way to live simply. And I think for me, and 4 years into Young Living has helped me to stop buying non-food items. Like I really try hard not to eat things that aren't food. If it isn't coming from the ground, if it isn't coming from the original source of what the food is or was, then I try not to eat it because I mean I'm just like you guys. I am in Mexican town. I love Mexican food and I love chips and salsa. So do I do things like that? Yes, I do, but I'm very cognizant of what I'm doing. And I know that 99% of the time I eat organic, I eat healthy, I eat, as vegan as I possibly can. Although yesterday I had chicken wings. So, I learned from some Buddhas a long time ago that if you have the right mindset, you can drink poison and be okay. And so I always think, just do things most of the time. I don't have to be perfect, but I am very cognizant of how I live without clutter, and how I live in trying to clean up my own body. And a young living with Ningxia and with the oils, it just helps me stay clear. It helps my brain stay clear. And as we build this company, I want people in on my team that truly care about how they live, how they breathe, the difference they make in each other's life, and the fun that we can have. Like we get together and we just laugh and laugh and laugh and dance and act crazy with Jack. And so I think, Christina, is there anything else that we need to go over from yesterday that they need to keep in mind, and then figure out who you want to sponsor? I will tell you guys that in the medical field, people that really want this information are therapists that work with the body, because they know it's about body, mind, spirit, health, wealth, happiness. People that are more specialists, they might be specialists of a hand or a foot or your hair. And the more specialty they have, the less they look at everything as interrelated. And you have to have people that are open to interrelationships. So how does one thing affect another thing? If you're not open to that cooperative interrelationship of how nature works, it's going to be harder to show them how this thing can throw this thing off, or this thing can make a difference with these things. So um, that's it for today. Christina, why don't you wrap it up? You have to unmute.
Thank you. This was just a great reminder of the steps to really start and empower us. And today's Monday, and let's just make it happen, and just come to. That's it. Just focus on to today.
Yeah. Thank you, Christina. I love you in my life, and I love that you'll show up. And success is 99.99999% showing up. Show up for the people in your life. Show up for your life that you want. Just show up. All right. Happy birthday, Lynn Erickson. You're 85 years going on 16. She's amazing.
Oh,
All right.
birthday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.